Love and Pride, Jane Austen.
The Bennet family consists of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and their daughters, Lydia, Mary, Kitty, Elizabeth, and Jane. Mrs. Bennet has a shallow and limited mindset, and her greatest goal in life is to marry off her daughters to wealthy and influential men. Mr. Bennet, on the other hand, is intelligent and thoughtful, despite his wife's simplicity. Kitty and Lydia act in the way their mother desires, attending gatherings and amusing themselves with young men. Mary is a reserved and introverted girl who loves reading. The eldest daughter, Jane, is the most beautiful, humble, and good-natured among them. The main character, Elizabeth, is as intelligent and perceptive as her father. Though slightly less beautiful than her elder sister, she is still considered quite attractive. The story begins when a young and wealthy gentleman named Charles Bingley rents an estate near the Bennet family's home. Upon hearing this news, Mrs. Bennet becomes ecstatic. Believing that this gentleman could marry one of her daughters, she immediately starts pressuring her husband to visit Mr. Bingley so that they can later invite him to their home. After Mr. Bingley moves to the area, a ball is held, during which Jane makes a strong impression on him. However, Mr. Bingley's sisters and his close friend, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, are not pleased with this development. Though the beauty of the Bennet sisters is undeniable, their pride prevents them from approving of a connection with someone from a lower class. At the ball, Mr. Bingley and Jane dance several times, but Mr. Darcy only dances with Elizabeth once. Later, Darcy remarks, "She is a fine girl, but not handsome enough to tempt me. Besides, I am not in the habit of amusing young ladies who are slighted by other men." Unbeknownst to Darcy, Elizabeth overhears his words, which deeply offend her. This marks the beginning of the tension between Elizabeth and Darcy. After the ball, Mr. Bingley continues to show interest in Jane and invites her to his house. Mrs. Bennet, eager to advance their relationship, sends Jane off in the late evening and in bad weather, hoping she will need to stay overnight. As a result, Jane becomes ill after the journey and is confined to bed. Mr. Bingley shows genuine care and concern for her, but his sisters display only feigned politeness and insist that she stay until she recovers. Worried about her sister's condition, Elizabeth visits Mr. Bingley's home and decides to stay until Jane is well again. Her presence is unwelcome to both Mr. Bingley's proud sisters and Mr. Darcy. This situation sets the stage for the pride-filled, contentious romance between Elizabeth and Darcy.